Hello and welcome to the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. Today is Wednesday, April 12th, 2023, and Stronghold Digital Mining took a breather today, which I think is actually a good thing. Nothing worse than having a stock kind of like, get ahead of itself, and then we find ourselves, suddenly retracing our way back to, 50 cents a share. I think at this point, it's possible that around 72 cents a share may be our new support level. I don't want to jinx anything though. We closed at 79 cents a share on volume of about 1.3 million shares, which all in all isn't bad. Bitcoin itself at last check was trading just beneath $30,000 a coin. So the price of Bitcoin is generally speaking holding steady. That said, I did notice that the network hash rate was really approaching 400. So in a perfect world, perhaps the network hash rate isn't quite that high, but I'm looking at our dashboard right now, and our Bitcoin price in dollars per megawatt hour is about $76, which again provides us with a very healthy margin, even assuming we're generating our own electricity at, let's just say, a cost of $50 a megawatt hour. That difference between 50 and 76, that represents our opportunity. That's a really great margin. So even if that's what's going on, I still think that's great. We have a lot of very positive tailwinds with the fact that, Bitcoin itself has been acting really well. And so I think it's going to be really interesting and important to see how we finish this week insofar as the stock price, insofar as Bitcoin pricing. And I think if we can get through this week closing above 70 cents a share, ideally over 72 cents a share or so, I think that kind of sets us up for next week potentially being a really, really pivotal, hopefully good week. Time is of the essence, right? If our goal is to organically get to a minimum bid price of $1 per share, and then basically hold steady at a minimum bid price of $1 per share for at least 10 business days, which really amounts to like 2 weeks, it's going to be important that we attempt to get into position to do that sooner than later, because we're approaching May, and once we get into the month of May, we're really looking at a fairly short window in which to achieve that minimum $1 bid price. If not, again, everything's in place for a reverse stock split. I may devote an entire video to some of the what-if scenarios that could potentially unfold if we pursue that path. I'll sort of share right now that I'm of the opinion that if we're going to do a reverse stock split, I sense that there may be more of an argument to be made to get us at least over $5 a share after the reverse stock split. The reason I say that, if I'm not mistaken, there are a variety of investment rules that kind of exist amongst some private equity funds, some mutual funds, things like that. This isn't universal. It's certainly not written in stone, and it's certainly not some sort of SEC mandate or anything like that. But there is a perception that sometimes, right, any stock that's under $5 a share is like a penny stock. And the perception, be it a good perception or maybe not so good perception, is that anything that's a penny stock is uninvestable, right? That you're essentially breaching any sort of fiduciary responsibility you have to a client or to the people who to whose money you're investing if you're involved in a penny stock. And again, I could get into more of the specifics of that, but I'm just sort of generalizing just at the moment to say that I'm sort of inclined to believe that if we're going to go the route of a reverse stock split, we might ultimately end up doing something that attempts to get us over $5 a share. Now, obviously, we don't really have a whole lot of say in that, right? I believe our board of directors has only approved at the most a 1-for-10 reverse stock split. So if for some reason our stock price is lower than 50 cents a share at the time the reverse stock split takes effect, well, by definition, then our stock will not be, if we're trading at say 40 cents a share, well, 1-for-10, puts us at about a $4 stock price, but at least it keeps us listed on NASDAQ, which is ultimately the goal here. Okay. Things are going reasonably well. I'm not at all concerned by the fact that we were down today. In fact, I'm kind of grateful that we're taking a bit of a breather. I'd rather this be an orderly, continue to be a very orderly movement to the upside than a spasmodic, leap and then a crash. And, I'd rather this just simply continue to be a very orderly increase in the value of our shares. And I think that's something that as shareholders, right, as co-owners of Stronghold Digital Mining, we can all rally around the fact that, hey, you know what? At least we see the general trajectory of our shares at this point as being to the upside, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going. I'm convinced that our best days are ahead of us, so I'm really optimistic. I'm really excited by what I'm seeing, and I'm not at all disturbed by the fact that we're taking, I think, a much needed breather today. So let's see what tomorrow brings. And so until then, be great, stay positive, and I'll see you tomorrow.